My name is Ben Vanderberg. I am part of the Firefly team, and I focus on Firefly for enterprise. So I look at some of the ways that Firefly integrates into our different first-party applications, how we leverage things like Firefly within some of our integrated automation, as well as things like our custom models and where we're helping customers be able to deliver and create trained models for their specific brands and so forth. So I'm super excited to talk to you a little bit more about that today over the next few minutes and give you a little bit of a glimpse of where we're going with some of that. All right. Ingo, just to confirm, yes, there we go. All right, so that's me right there. But we're going to spend less time talking about me. But the one thing I do want to just say is that it is such an exciting time right now with generative AI and what it can do to really help creatives and with all of you to be able to help take generative AI and really augment some of our different applications with that. Developers are near and dear to my heart, mainly because some of my first jobs were actually creating scripts for InDesign Server, Adobe Bridge, and so forth. So I love seeing the creativity that all of you are able to create with our technology there. So let's talk about Firefly, because Firefly has had an amazing journey over the last year. We launched that last year, and since then there's been over 6 billion different generations. And we've not only created just one model like our image model, we've created 3 different versions of our image model, as well as a vector model for things like Illustrator, a design model for Adobe Express, and we've integrated across our different applications. This is amazing momentum, and what we're really seeing is where people are going from the kind of playing around stage to actually incorporating it into their everyday tools and how they work. And we're not stopping there. We're today we have image model 3, vector model, design model, but we're going to be continuing on with more announcements later this year around things like audio, video, and 3D. So stay tuned. We're really excited about where we're going with Firefly. A couple of things just to note with Firefly that's really, really important. First, we have been integrating Firefly across our different applications, and you'll see some of that. The second thing that we've also been really mindful of, particularly with Firefly, is making sure that it's commercially safe. And what that means is that Firefly is trained on the licensed content that is in Adobe stock, as well as openly licensed content that we have licensed to use for training. We don't train on our customers' content. We don't own our customers' content. What customers create is their own. But the main thing is, because we license it with Adobe stock and openly licensed content, we know where every image that was used to train it comes from. So we're confident that it is commercially safe for our customers to be able to use for anything that's generated with Firefly. The other thing is we've been very transparent about the training data that we use for that, and we continue to set a high standard of what it is that we are using to train any of our models. And finally, the other thing is, in this age, with great technology also comes new risks, new ways that people can create fraud, fake news, etc., which is why we were one of the founding members of the Content Authenticity Initiative, and we make sure that content credentials are part of everything generated with Firefly, so that you have a nutrition label to know where images come from, know if they were generated with GenAI, and so forth. And here is just some of the different ways that we have utilized and created tools with generative AI, generating images with text to image, generative fill by being able to directly in tools like Photoshop and Express, just select an area, put in a text prompt, and add and remove things, be able to expand out images to resize them easily, as well as things like text to vector in Adobe Illustrator, so that you can just put in a text prompt to put to generate a vector. This was really a big thing for me because I was never particularly great with the path tool or Bezier curves. So it was a great addition and makes it much easier. As well as we're continuing to be able to make these as different sort of tools that are available directly in the applications that people use every day, and make it very practical for people to use. So what I like to do is I like to talk about kind of the 4 areas of where we're looking at with Firefly and continuing to incorporate that into our different applications. The 4 areas are: how are we helping empower creative pros through things like Adobe Creative Cloud? How are we enabling enterprises to automate using Firefly services, which are APIs? How we can help empower with Adobe Express for anybody to create and use Firefly. And then the 4th is custom models. If we start with the first area here, Adobe Firefly is integrated across a variety of different Creative Cloud applications, which means that we all really believe that generative AI is such a powerful tool to empower creativity, whether you're doing images, whether you're doing photos, video, you're doing vector, 3D. More and more, we're incorporating this into every sort of tools because we see where this can really help boost creativity and productivity within that. An example of that is inside of tools like Photoshop, where directly inside of Photoshop, let's say you wanted to resize this sort of image. It's simple as just using that crop tool to be able to resize and be able to simply click on generate, to use generative expand and expand out that image. And not only that, understand things like the shadows and reflections that are in that image that otherwise would have been very difficult to be able to manually be able to do. Simple and easy power in there with generative expand. Another example is things like generative fill, where the example of this person in the image might not have the right outfit. So we can simply put in a text prompt to be able to change out so that she then has now hiking clothes inside of there. And again, very easy, very practical, that otherwise would have been extremely difficult to be able to implement. So again, bringing the tools to where people are working every day and making that simple and easy. The other thing that we're also doing is we're also making it easy for you to be able to not just generate images, but also cut down on having to put text into a text prompt to try to describe what you're trying to generate. Because I don't know about you, but trying to translate what is going on visually in my mind into a very long text prompt can sometimes be very difficult with prompt engineering. So what we're doing with Firefly is making that easier by allowing people to be able to upload style references, structure references, so that you can take example of this image on the left, and it uses that as a reference to understand the tone, the style, so that when you use a text prompt, you're not having to communicate all the tone and style of that. It can understand that to generate those references in there. Not only that, things like structure reference allows you to be able to generate variations of images that combine both style and structure reference, so that you can really create true creativity. And the structure reference helps inform what and how it's going to generate that image, while style can be used to help inform some of the things like color and tone within that. Another thing that we're also doing with Firefly is making it easy for you to be able to take existing images like product images and so forth and bring them together with what we call object composites. So you can take those, upload your images within that, and be able to then place that directly inside of Firefly with another image and generate that output that is blending the two of them together there, which is beautiful and really makes generative AI extremely easy to be able to use and create images with your existing images. And we're going to continue to do that across some of our different applications to really help creative pros accelerate the way that they can create content faster. The second way that we're bringing Firefly to enterprises is through what we call Firefly services, which are APIs that are available as an add-on for our enterprise customers that takes a combination of our Firefly solutions like text to image, generative fill, generative expand, makes those available as APIs that can be utilized, and also combines that along with Photoshop APIs, Lightroom APIs, so that enterprises can create end-to-end automated workflows in the cloud that are both generative as well as being able to create and edit and assemble those in one streamlined workflow. These APIs we launched this year. They are currently available only as a package for enterprise customers who are on ETLA. But we're continuing to take all of the best of our Firefly capabilities, along with Photoshop and Lightroom and everything, and bringing them together under Firefly services to be able to create those cloud-based automated workflows. The next area is in the area of Adobe Express, which again, like the whole power of Firefly is taking what otherwise would have been something that is extremely difficult to do and making it extremely simple for anybody to be able to do. That's the power that generative AI really brings. And one example that is really cool, great add-on is the bulk create and generate add-on in Adobe Express that utilizes Firefly to be able to generate multiple different variations based on text prompts in a spreadsheet. So you can take a design inside of Adobe Express, and then use that to create a number of different variations based on product, based on language, based on different titles that you might need for localization. All these different variations that otherwise would have been tedious to create manual variations. It's the power of using Firefly and the easiness of Adobe Express to make that powerful to create all those different variations. You notice that every single background in this is a generated image using Firefly based on those text prompts, so that it creates new, fresh content on that. So what you saw, the other one with that is then custom models, which is some of our enterprise customers go, hey, we love Firefly. We love the power of that. But what we want to do is we want to take some of our own content. We want to be able to then train Firefly on that content to create things that are our own specific brand, our own styles, our own specific things. And that's where Firefly custom models is exactly that. It's based on top of the core model of Firefly. Customers can then upload 20 to 30 images to be able to train their own custom model for a specific style or subject, so that then within text to image in Adobe Firefly, you can simply put in a prompt and it's going to generate images using your style and your experience with that. So an example of that is if we take something like this background that we have here in Express, it has that certain kind of vibe with the flowing waves in there, but we want to make something a little bit more personal to a specific region, and you want to make it easy to be able to do that. So the idea with custom models would be that you'd be able to then take that and you can train with all your different images upload that into Firefly, create that custom model with the captions within that. Takes a short while to generate that model, and what that then looks like is inside of text to image on firefly.adobe.com. Within your models, it then shows up as an option along with image model 3. You can choose your specific model. You can put in a text prompt, generate that, and then that keeps that style. So in this example, we want to add some strawberries along with having that wave style. It is that model's then trained on that style so that when I put in strawberries flying up in the air with red waves, it knows to create it with the aesthetic of that specific brand, so that then I can easily drop that into this sort of design without having to do a large amount of design with that. But I'm taking existing assets and bringing them together to create those custom models. So what this really is with Firefly, and what I'm really excited about with this, is that we're growing such a wide spectrum of different ways that you can create and customize with Firefly, from being able to just simply put in a text prompt, generate an image, but then be able to take styles and structure references to be able to upload different elements in there. And instead of typing in a text prompt, be able to help communicate and inform exactly what it is that you want to generate. Along with that, be able to upload your own images into that to be able to generate new backgrounds and scenes as part of that with object composites. And style kits is a way for enterprise customers to be able to take all the little recipe of, I added this strength for Firefly, I uploaded this image, and save it as a preset so that you can share it with others to be able to create content on that. And then generative fill and generative expand is about taking your images and be able to then augment them with that. And then custom models is being able to then create your own content based on your own content, train your own model for styles, characters, and other things to generate new images. So Firefly is super exciting to really help with creativity. And like we're going to continue with this. We have a lot that is offered across the different things within our Adobe applications. We have a number of different foundational models that we're continuing to invest to make it easier for people to be able to create across those applications. And we're going to continue even further with things like audio, video, and 3D as we move forward there. So what I would really love to ask the whole community on this is, think, go to firefly.adobe.com, go check out and see some of the amazing things that Firefly can do, and then look at the opportunities of where you could create plugins for Photoshop, for Illustrator, for InDesign, and those tools to be able to really harness even more of what generative AI can do for creative users there.